G'day there guys. I can't get any work done on the boat this week, so what I've decided to do is just do an unboxing of this. This is the plasma cutter I talked about getting the other week. This is the CIG CutSkill 35 amp. It came with a heap of accessories. The main one is it came with a 65 amp torch, which will give me a better duty cycle on the machine so it won't get quite so hot in my hand. Came with a flash new auto darkening helmet, much more than this old bush boy's ever had. Also came with a circle cutting guide. Pretty keen to give this a try. And came with an air cleaner, air dryer, filter type arrangement. Alright, so what we'll do now, we'll hook it all together. I'll try cutting a few things on a piece of plate. I've got a few pieces of steel that I want to try it out on. One's a really dirty, rusty, painted piece of steel. The other's sort of semi-clean, a little bit of surface rust. Basically, I want to see how well it cuts through the 12mm plate that they've claimed that it's going to do. All right, we'll get it all hooked up and we'll go from there. So to start with, it only has a 10 amp plug on it, which is much better than having to try find a 15 amp outlet everywhere. We'll set our torch up. All right, let's have a quick look at the cutting head itself. So we'll take the shroud off. Oh wow, that would probably have to be the easiest plasma I've ever had to pull apart. So there's the nozzle and there's the plasma electrode. It has a self-regulating height gauge on it so that it keeps the nozzle the correct distance away from the metal surface. The earth clamp's probably a little bit flimsy. Considering it's a 35 amp machine, I probably thought they would have put something just a little bit better on there. I may be wrong. It may last a lot longer than I think, but we'll see how it goes. It's just got a little welding quick connect. Now round to the back of the machine. So here we've got an air dryer. So we'll just take this little plug off. Okay, so here's a little inline filter that comes with it. I say to wear safety glasses while I'm changing this out, I don't know why. Just wondering if it's spring loaded. Alright, so basically it's just a little ceramic filter like the one you get in your fish tank that blows all the tiny little bubbles. Just fits nice and neatly into the cup there. Screwing back together. Don't have to over tighten it, it's got an O-ring fitting in there. They put a steel fitting in the end. I was thinking it was plastic. So what I'm going to have to do is use some thread sealant. If that was plastic, I wouldn't have bothered. I'll just go and get some thread sealing tape so I can put this together. So just a tiny little bit of thread sealant tape on those fittings. Doesn't need a lot. Now they say there's a right and a wrong way to put thread sealant on. Basically, I think that the right way is whatever's easiest for you. For me, I'll hold the fitting in my left hand, hold the tape in my right. I'll make sure the tape is coming off the top of the reel, and then I wind it over in that direction so that I can keep firm pressure on it as I go all the way around. That's what works for me. Okay, so we're all set up. Let's see how we go firing this thing up. Oh, nice little LCD display. Alright, it only goes down as far as 20 amp. That's okay, that's probably pretty good for cutting light gauge material from about maybe 3mm and above. And then we wind right up to 35 amp. Okay, we have a trigger control feature. So we have 2T and 4T. So 2T is basically just a normal trigger control. Press the trigger, let it go, it stops. Okay, so in 4T trigger setup, the moment that you start cutting, let go of the trigger, it continues to cut. until you stop, and then it automatically shuts down the torch. We have an air control feature. It just turns the air on. I don't know what the point of it is, but anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is just try a freehand cut. I'll just cut it along this radius that I just marked using our favourite radius marking tool called a grinding disc. Alright, now, I haven't used a plasma in a lot of years, so this is going to be pretty interesting. Oh, I'm pretty pleased with that. I don't think I was using enough amps, but I'll give it a go, give it another. This is nice and square cut though. I may have been going a tad too slow, I don't know. Okay, so very happy with that. I was just trying to cut next to that line. I've left the line behind, probably a little bit out just there, but it's just the user more than anything. I might just turn the power up a little bit and we'll just see how that looks. So that's 27 amps, that's a beautiful clean cut. Not a great deal of slag on the underside either, and you could probably knocked off pretty easily with a scraper. Alright, so this is a pretty manky piece of steel. It's about 8mm thick, it's covered in paint, rust, dirt. I've just turned the power up to 30 amps, so we'll see how this goes. You can see on the underside of that material all the rust. I think this is going to do the job very well. Alright, so not perfect, but I think that was more down to operator error than anything. All in all, I think that plasma unit's going to be everything that I need. The only couple of disappointing things about it, this here, this is the circle guide cutter packaging. It took me longer to get everything out of here than it did to actually set up the circle cutter. The other disappointing thing is this helmet. While it's probably a good welding helmet, because I found it extremely clear and I could see really well out of it, the settings on the side here go from 9 round to 13. The problem with that is it's not light enough to do close plasma work with, and when you turn the actual grinding function on, which is just probably about a shade 3 or 4, it's too light to use the plasma with. This is my old faithful oxy cutting shield, so if I had a lot of oxy cutting to do for the day, I used to wear this. I think this is better with the plasma. The only thing wrong with it is it's very dark when you want to start cutting. So you have to lift the shield, see where you're going to start from, drop your shield and then start cutting. So it's just not auto. But I welded for 20 years without an auto darkening helmet. and in my heyday I could TIG weld a Coca-Cola can. I couldn't do it now. In fact, it's been 8 years since I've picked up a TIG and done a good job with one, so I dare say that I'm going to need a bit of practice again. I'm sorry this video isn't about working on the boat. What do? I just couldn't get to it this week. It's been too demanding with work, and when I went to work on it today, the yard's locked up, so I can't get over there. Alright guys, well thanks for watching that little video. As I say, sorry for not getting to the boat this week, but that's life. I was going to try again today. As you can see, it's a bit windy here, and I don't feel like throwing hot sparks around next door to a paddock where there's a heap of grass. I dare say they'd be calling the fire brigade for me. Alright guys, until next week, have a good one. Catch up with you later. Bye.